Hello, everybody. It's my turn. It's my turn. I've sent Ted to India to do some damage control. As you can see, things haven't gone so great this afternoon, evening. The Proteas have broken our hearts again, but we'll get over it. We'll do a post-mortem around that. We'll chat about that. But we have better news. Welcome to Game On. This is episode 18. Episode 18. I lie. It's episode 19. I'm having too much fun. It's episode 19. I'm here with somebody who's very, very important to Eastern's cricket. Somebody whom I met along the way. And I didn't know that he was involved in cricket till I met him on the cricket field. We had a friendly at Rainbow Cricket Club, Geluksdal versus Rainbow Cricket Club. And then I rock up and I see a man who I work in the same industry. And I'm like, hey, I know this guy. And we got sitting and talking around the stories of cricket. And I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Logan Fortain. Mr. Fortain, how are you?
No, Harry, I'm good. And yourself?
I can't complain, man. Welcome to our setup. Welcome to Game On. I've been wanting to have you here for a while, so I'd like us to probably just chat cricket. That's what we do here. We chat cricket for as long as possible. Talk about your story. Tell us, everything about Geluksdal Cricket Club, because what this man has done is very, very amazing. Something that's very close to my heart in terms of sport and what I talk about on the show. So, he can give us the case study, the proper case study as to how things started from the ground up to where they are now. But before we get into that part, I wanted to tell us about you. Tell us about Logan Fortain. What are you about? Where do you come from? How did this bug bite? Where does cricket start? All of that.
No, thanks, Harry. Thanks to all your listeners and thanks to the media team and the whole team that you guys are setting up. Yeah, I actually was looking forward to being in studio. It's actually my first time being on a podcast.
There you go. Breaking the dark.
I've done a lot of interviews and being on TV and but I think it's the first time I'm going to be on an interview on a podcast. And what I'm actually quite excited about is that sometimes when you're on TV, you've got like a 2 or 3 minute slot that you need to get your message across.
Yeah.
But I think this is an opportunity now to speak something that's actually close to my heart.
100%.
Which is development, especially in the townships. Which is where I grew up. So my name is Logan Fortain. I'm now about 37 years old. I grew up in a so-called colored community. The reason why I always say colored community is because those years before the Group Areas Act, when in the apartheid era, when we got separated, we became a colored area. But now, the community where we stay in, we're more a diverse community.
Yeah.
That's why I always say so-called colored community,
100%.
because we like 40, 60. But I grew up in a community where drugs and alcohol and social ills is the order of the day. But the nice part was in the primary school where I was, I remember I was 5 years old and I got introduced to Baker's mini cricket. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
I always say that when that's why the program that we are running is important for us when it comes to mini cricket, because that's where the buck actually bites you. But that's Logan in a nutshell. I think the interesting thing that I wanted to bring across on your podcast today is that I've went through a lot of things in my life, and I remember I played Easterns on the highest level. I played Easterns from under 11. I had also had the opportunity those years just after apartheid to go to a white Afrikaans school. I traveled this country because of sports. And that was actually one of the most important reasons why I decided to go back to my township and start cricket there. But it's a long game and a long plan and a long vision that God gave me.
Yeah.
And today, what I said last week was that it's amazing how the club went from 1 to 10 teams, and the story is actually it's an interesting story, but we'll share it.
No, absolutely. And maybe because we also talk about, we do talk about mental health, we discuss the challenges going through. And I think because, we are from a certain era, it was much tougher playing cricket as a player of color than it is now.
Yes.
The doors were not necessarily open. We were viewed in certain eyes. So I could never be a batsman. I could only be a bowler.
Yeah.
Even though you might have had some sort of talent, but it was never. No one ever took the time to take that talent out of you and show. So maybe you can also just tell the viewers what it felt like, how it was just transitioning through that era, because that era was tough. Because even on the field, the conversations on the field were also tough, because you had to sort of, yes, it's fine, it's chirping, but it got personal.
Yes.
And you still had to then try and perform, because you can't explain why you tried to hit him over cow corner, because he said one or two things. At the end of the day, you're out. So you know what I'm saying. So maybe you can tell the viewers what it was like.
I think,
Harry,
I think it's you just made me think about something very interesting. I remember when I was about 16 or 17 years old, I had opportunity to play against Andre Nel, a club game, Premier League. And at the time, Andre was playing at South Africa, and I was like 16, 17 years old, and an international player runs up to bowl against you. You've never seen him, you only see him on TV, but what a privilege it was at the time. And whether the guy bowls came hard.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how we've learned over the years.
Yeah.
And I think what makes it very interesting, Harry, is the fact that we've learned a lot from it. It was tough.
Yeah.
I've actually realized now, if you look at it, the structures now and how they select the provincial team, especially junior levels, now you find out that in the top 3 there must be a POC player. Those years it was not like that. It was like there must be only 5 POC players. Normally you'll bet
7, 8 if you're lucky, even though you're opening at your school, but it's 7, 8.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that.
And I think now they at least there's more of a structured approach, but it was tough times. But if you look at it, most of the players that I've played with those years, if you look at a lot of friends of mine, I mean, today we are chairmen from different clubs. Today I know of coaches. I mean, the assistant coach of Eastern Storms now was a close friend of mine. Some of the hub coaches at Eastern today, senior hub coaches, level 3 coaches are friends of mine, and we've learned the hard way. But what made it more interesting, there was not a lot of freebies at the time. And I think that's what made more stronger cricketers those years. And that's what actually makes me more exciting about those years. And now you found the boys now, it's like they're getting everything for on a silver platter.
It's so hard, because you want them to also be privileged, but you don't want them to be too privileged. I think Tats and I were having a conversation last week around just the attention span of these youngsters now. It's so short. Like now when I'm playing, I have to look for the youngster. I have to see, hey, is he concentrating? Okay, he's concentrating. Okay, he's concentrating. Right. Okay, bowl. Then every 2 of us look, hey, where is he standing? But because they can't manage their own space. And some of these boys are 16, 17, whereby back in the day, you had to concentrate. If not, you had a senior member cacking you out saying, hey, make sure 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you can't speak to them in a certain way. You have to address them in a certain way. It's very... It's hard, because yes, society is progressing, but I feel like we're losing that element, because only the top of the boys who are really talented can control their space, but the boys who are in the middle and below struggle. And how do you cure attention span? How do you cure that issue? It's impossible.
If you look at those years, now I actually had a conversation at one of our umpires the other day. I still play Premier League. I'm actually forced to play Premier League. I actually retired, and I just played a couple of games out of retirement. And I had a conversation with one of the umpires, because sometimes you bowl a ball, and then you maybe bowl a bad ball, and then you just swear at yourself. And the umpire said, "No, come down." I'm like, "No, come on, umpire." I'm talking to myself, I'm trying to motivate myself. And then but now the umpire doesn't even want you to say anything on the field. I'm like, no, man, this is now becoming game is now too soft.
Yeah. No.
And then now this is a new generation. You can't even shout at them anymore. You can't chirp at the players anymore. And you need to have a certain way how you need to chirp.
Yeah.
So it's a bit worrying to extent whereby, I don't know, man. If you look at today, we lost again as the Proteas. We won the World Cup for the 4th time now at the rugby. what's the difference? Why? It looks like mentally the two sporting codes, somewhere, somehow we doing something wrong. You know, and it's interesting. And then I think we're gonna have maybe an in-depth conversation on what you wanna achieve.
Yeah, no, it's always been one of those things. So I think we Tats and I also spoke about getting over that hoodoo and breaking that duck and tackling. Today they were supposed to tackle those guys. Each person was tackle their person man for man, and we didn't do that. We didn't tackle. We didn't play the situation, or we didn't play the game. We played the situation. We played the semi-final. We did not play against Australia. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like, Hazelwood and Stark were bowling well, and we did not let them bowl well. We tried to then dominate. Hence Quinton de Kock's shot, which I don't understand. With Aiden Markram, I don't understand. So how do we then change that perception? Because I think the rugby's got it right. You're right. They've got that part right. How do we then change perception? Because I said now is that we can't talk like we used to on the field. Even at slip, I can't walk towards the batsman anymore. The umpire says, hey, that's enough. Like 4 steps and that's it. You can't get any closer. I can't get in his ear. I can't do anything. I have to talk to him from far at slip, which is it's not the same. It's not the same. But anyway, we will jump into that. So let's continue your story. Tell us how you went from Eastern's junior through to Eastern's highest level, then somehow got roped into being a chairman, and that process. Take us through that process.
Yeah, so Eric, so I've got an interesting story, and I always say, I'll tell my friends that one day I'm probably gonna write a book. But I believe that I'm still gonna write that book when you drive at this expensive car. Because lately, these guys, they don't take you serious. Even they see what you have done, and but so I started, like I said, I started mini cricket, and I think just after I think it was in grade 3 or grade 4, just after apartheid got abandoned, and we went to a white Afrikaans school. The school's name was Laar School van Dijk, and there was a principal called Mr. Black, and that's actually where we started teaching me more in depth about the game. Obviously, there was better facilities at the school at the time, and I started playing cricket. Started making Easterns under 11. I remember at that time there was supposed to be 5 POCs. So I was, I don't know what you call it, lucky, but I was the best cricketer at the school at the time. So, and then obviously went through the system, under 11, under 12, under 13, all the way up. But the lucky part, I was a sportsman because I also played soccer. I played Eastern soccer as well until under 17. Went to I played under 19 Easterns, went to the Cokeek. The interesting part was obviously when, like I said, I was in a so-called colored community, but I was playing at the white Afrikaans school. Yeah. And then the interesting part was when in the age of 17, there was a teacher called Mr. Prince Tete, chairman of Kwatema Cricket Club. So they had a Premier League team, and we didn't have at the time club cricket. So I moved to go play Premier League cricket at Kwatema. Fast forward, I played about 4 or 5 years there until the age of 12, and I went to a privileged club called Benoni Northern. Played about 3 years there. What a setup. So you went from a club whereby a township club, the struggles, where transport, on Sunday morning catering, but it was nice. We played for 4 years there. Then I went to a club where all of a sudden everything is sorted out. Every parent got dropped off his own kit. There's no chairman calling players.
Yeah, we're not sharing kit. Yeah, can I use your pad? Yeah, I need your pad. Yeah.
So I played there for a good 3 years. It was nice. Probably one of the best run clubs. And that's where actually where the vision started. The vision started. So if you imagine if we have something like this in our community.
In the township.
Fast forward, I went to go play for Actonville Spurs. Played for Actonville Spurs for about also 3 years, and then I went to go play for Kwatema for another 1 year, and then in 2013, some of my friends that were still playing, cricket, we decided, no, let's start our own club in the community. We thought that, no, a couple of senior guys, so we started the club. Fast forward, we decided, no, the next year, I think in 2014, we started with juniors, first junior setup. Today, we got about 9 to 10 teams, about 120 players. And the very important thing and interesting thing that we've done is, so we were at that time we selected who's going to be the board, and I was elected to become the chairperson. But the reason why I was actually selected to become the chairperson, because at that time I had a bigger network, because I played provincial cricket. I know everybody.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and the nice thing, the most of the guys that I played with from the age of 11 now was coaches at Easterns. So the friendship, it was beyond just cricket. I mean, I slept at Kwatema, I slept in Benoni in the most expensive houses, you know.
I know in the
areas.
Yeah, I don't know that's there.
So
very nice houses in Northern, yeah.
It for me, it was so it was always a nice privilege and opportunity that sport gave me as a young man, you know, because I would have probably been in the townships in or the colored area where I'm from, but because of the cricket we started. So, and then all of a sudden the cricket just started blowing up massively in the community. Went from one team, we just added one more team, and I think that's the mistakes that most of the township clubs does. So what we've done was we concentrated on trying to build a club from strength to strength per year. Nowadays you find a guy that he wants to start a club in the township, but he starts with 3 junior teams. It's his first year. Then all of a sudden the guy struggles. With us, we didn't do that. We started with one senior team on the 7th league, and then automatically we started with the under 10 team. That under 10 team that we started today are playing provincial cricket. Those boys that we've played with today are attending the best schools in Easterns.
Getting scholarships.
But we'll chat about how I feel that it's important to get the children out of the townships. What made it very interesting, Harry, is that, you know, my son is playing, he's made Easterns under 15 now. He plays rugby as well, Falke rugby. I could have taken him to the best clubs. He'll probably walk into any under 15, under 17 team in Easterns. But I've realized one thing is that we need to create new role models in our townships. 100%. The problem that we are facing now today is that the guys that makes it from the township, they move out. And then it's like they don't care.
It's the same thing. Even doctors, whatever, architects, they'll move, and then you lose that value because there's no one to look out for. You can't say, "Hey, there's somebody there. There's so and so." You see, there's a teacher, there's a banker, there's a private banker, there's an investor. They're still here. They're all leaving. So that young person doesn't know, like, okay, why must I go study accounting?
Exactly my point.
Because who else studied accounting here?
Exactly my point. So now all the good people, they run out of the townships. Nobody's giving back to the community. And that's, my son is in a white Afrikaans school. I want to bring this point across to your viewers. And I've seen a lot of things. But if there's one thing I respect white people, is they always give back to the clubs or the schools where the children is from. Go to the townships, my guy. The guys, where they give back is into alcohol. Mm-hmm. They'll spend most of the money into alcohol. Mm-hmm. But that's a subject for another day. And so when the club started growing, our boys didn't make Easterns at the time. So I went to one of my friends that was at Easterns. I told him, no man, chief, if you can just select one of our children to get into the Eastern setups. Because remember what's happening is in our communities, because of the environment and the social ills that they found themselves in, that is their heroes. Mm-hmm. So when the first child started making Easterns cricket, the boy started obviously coming with his new provincial colours. After the tours, he's now back in the club. He's wearing his Easterns clothing. Gear, and now all of a sudden, the rest of the boys also want to start making Easterns. Yes. Or play provincial cricket.
Coach, what do I need to do to get to
what I'm going to do. Yes. I mean, if I can count now for the last 10 years, all the children that went from our club through the provincial structures is now close to 14, 15 players. You understand?
That's impressive.
End of this year, Harry, at our regional weeks that's starting now the 1st of December, from under 11 to under 17, we've got 11 players just from one community, one club that's participating this year in the regional tournaments.
It's amazing. It's a great production line.
And that's, I mean, I think in under 12 we've got 3 from our club that made Eastern schools. Under 13 we've got 3 from our club. Under 15 we've got 2 from our club. Under 17 we've got 2 from our club. But everything started because we've got a solid foundation in our community, and we fall and we get a lot of pressure, and we put a lot of effort in our base, which is the junior cricket structure.
That's where your structure. That's how your club gets stronger. It gets stronger from the bottom up. You can have top class players, but when they retire, then what? When they leave, then what? You have to go from the bottom up.
I mean, if you look at it, we this is our second year in the Premier League. I mean, last year we played Kempton Park, the first game of the Premier League last year. It was our first game. They scored 600 against us. My man, it was the guys were drinking blood, eating grass. And I thought at that time, no, man, yes, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe, but
baptism of fire.
But if you look at it now, in our T20s, we out of the 5 games, we won 2 this year. Okay, we lost our first 3 games so far, but I believe that we'll probably get out of the 13, 14 teams in the Premier League. I'm confident we'll get maybe a 9 this year. But if you look at our Premier League team, the half of their players is the players that started the club 10 years ago when they were 9 years old. About 4 or 5 of those players are on full scholarships at the elite schools. They're playing against Water, Turf, all those big schools.
Getting the exposure.
Getting the exposure. And we as a club 4 years ago, we took a different direction as a club. Rather than just concentrating on cricket, we now, when the boys makes Eastern's cricket, we're trying our best to get them into better schools. Because and the only thing that we have as a club is to say that, you know what, no? You go to a better school, but please play club cricket in the community. Yeah. That is the thing that we want. Because now the rest, and all of a sudden now, if you wouldn't believe it, in our club now, it's not just about playing Eastern's cricket, but it's about getting a scholarship. Coach, but I also want to get a scholarship.
Yeah,
you understand? And that is now that's exciting me as a chairman and as a club. So that is, but you know what? I remember last year the region under 13 regional week was at the Lions at Fourways. My man, we had 2 boys in the under 13 team, and we went there. There was the POC players in Gauteng. My man, when I saw them play compared to our POC players, I thought to myself, no ways, we're far behind. And when you started engaging them and asking what type of schools it is, and you find out they are at Model C schools. Then I've realized, no.
We're missing a trick.
We missing a trick here. That's why now our focus, I think 3 of our boys is in grade 7 this year, is going to elite schools next year. You understand? And that excites me.
Yeah, because now they're going to play, they're going to train better, they're going to play against better. So when they come back, they improve the standard that's within.
And they'll probably play from next year about 80 games in a year. Yeah. Normally the township boys, they only start playing club cricket. Most of the time the games rained out. And then when you guys have this
East Red weather.
When you guys got this expensive tournament of yours that we call that Gauteng Winter League, you play 10 games, our boys are sitting in the township, and then the school cricket starts 5 games or 10 games, school cricket is finished, then they go for trials again. Yeah. All of a sudden our boys only played 15 games.
Yeah, they're undercooked. Because right now, school cricket right now it's so heavy. Because I look at some of the boys that are at Randburg. No, we're training this week, we're playing Monday, we're playing Wednesday, we're playing Saturday. I'm like, hey, then they're playing Sunday. I'm like, I never played this amount of cricket at
school.
Never.
My point.
I played maybe twice a week if I was lucky.
Exactly. Now, if you're not gonna get, if we're not gonna get the township boys to play in that amount of cricket, we will remain behind. And that's what I appreciate about the rugby, and that's why I wanna, one thing I've learned about the rugby. My son is at work school, Ege Jansen. So I think they're number 9 in the country when it comes to rugby. But the amount of money they invest in that boys, I'm talking about a junior, at under 14, under 15. I mean, they already started practicing for next year. Because they're playing against the elite schools, Grasfontein and all those type of things. But then you find out that boys, When they go play one day for the Springboks, then you understand why those boys are performing under pressure. Because this thing already started the development at the age of 16. You understand? We don't do that at the cricket. And for me, I think that is where we're lacking. We need to come up with a program to say that at least, I told our CEO the other day, Chief, your goal must be to say that at least out of the townships, every year 10 players must go to the elite schools. That must be your legacy. Your legacy must be to say that you obviously want to make money for the union, but what players from the township are you bringing to the elite?
How are we strengthening the
How do you
system?
strengthen the entire system?
That's true. Actually, maybe that's the question we asked. Tats and I spoke about that. What is the difference? Why are we failing to compete at World Cups? What is going on? And that's it. Because even at rugby, the biggest high school derby is in South Africa, which is Paul Roos and Paarl. It's 24,000 spectators.
But my man,
at under 17, 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds being watched. So by the time they're playing Western Province, and they're used to this.
They're used to big numbers
crowds.
watching them.
And you're not going to have 80,000 people watching under 19 cricket.
Exactly my point. So I think that is where I've realized, if I'm going to keep these boys playing township cricket, my man, we will remain behind. And why the elite now is moving forward. And one thing that I've picked up now, and Gauteng is taking the lead in that thing. I mean, for the first time we had an under 13 team in the Gauteng Winter League. Only black boys from the township. We had them in that league. We played 10 games consecutively. And that's what actually, Harry, that's what excites me. To say. But if we didn't have that opportunity, those boys wouldn't have played winter cricket.
Yeah.
And for me, personally, I think that is something that we, as chairmen from the previously disadvantaged communities, to look into it, and what we want to achieve. We must be honest. What we want to achieve,
and we also need to pull in the right direction, because a lot of the times, each club is pulling in their own direction. It's divisive. I think maybe that's how I feel sometimes about it in Gauteng, Central Gauteng. Everybody's got their own agenda. Everyone's pulling in their own. We're not pulling in the same direction. What is it that we want? I understand that you have to look out for your club, but are we better in cricket as a whole?
Exactly.
Is cricket is it excelling in Central? Yes, fine, the Lions are doing well in all facets, but drop down to club level, are we really pulling in the right direction? And I don't think so. I think that there's still plenty of work to be done. And I see now some clubs are collaborating, but we're still not. And I see it at meetings. When you go to chairman's and captain's meetings, when you go to CGL meetings, there's pockets. There's always the same people are arguing this every year. The same people are arguing. The same people are fighting. It never ends. It never ends. But I do want to rewind. I just have one question. So for you, is that when did you decide that cricket was the way? Because you just said that you played soccer as well. You represented Eastern. So when did you? Because there had to come a time where you had to say, okay, this one or this one, which one I'm gonna go cricket. And what was the factor? What made you decide?
It was actually interesting. I remember that one year we made the Easterns under 17. Those years we used to call it the USASA week. So I played the USASA week, but at the same time I was at Mayfair, at Pirates Academy. I was there for about 6 months. I was a goalkeeper.
You as well?
Yeah, I was there for about 6 months. Palacios, I remember he was the development coach. And I was a goalkeeper. And you must remember, I've got good hands.
Yeah.
I don't really drop a catch.
You must come to Randburg then.
I don't really drop a catch. That's why it makes me a very good
you must come to Randburg.
Goalkeeper.
Well, maybe we must bring goalkeeper training. If you have a goalkeeper, please call me. I'll bring you to Randburg. We can teach those folks how to catch.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, I was there for about 6 months. I was already almost in the team. It was between me and one other guy that we supposed to get into the team. I didn't have realized, no. Then Palacios just came on me on a Friday and said, no, we're going to select the other guy. And you're not going to select me. I remember my father was very angry at that time. But the problem with soccer is, man, soccer, it's you can you can be weak, and then people can still get you in the team.
No, I know. I was there. I was there. I know.
You see, and cricket is different. Cricket is a numbers. It's more in the individual game. So we can see this one is struggling.
Yeah, he's struggling. You can see this one is weak.
This one is weak.
This one, he knows the manager. He knows the coach.
Yeah.
So that's why he's.
And at the time I realized, now, yeah, something is not right. And that's I just stop totally playing soccer and concentrated on cricket. But I think one of the most important decision that I've made that I regret till today was that I had that mindset that I'm going to make South Africa, that I'm going to play South Africa, and I didn't really too much concentrated on my academics. And I think that was also, but at the time we didn't have the support. You know, our parents at the time, you couldn't understand that we play a provincial game during the week, and there's a lot of parents supporting their children. And our parents are sitting at work.
Yeah.
And at that time, we didn't understand what was happening. Okay, now we understand that most of that parents are owning the businesses.
Yes.
And our parents are working on the floor, you understand?
It was difficult. I think we had this conversation episode 3 or 4, early doors, that is the challenge that now, to explain to my father what cricket is. My father, when I when I decided that soccer is not the one for me, my dad was angry. He was like, this can't be my son. He can't share my genes. He might look like me, but this is not him. Can I take him back to the factory? Can you replace him with another one? You want to play cricket? I don't understand the sport. I think my mother decided, okay, let me find out what is this thing that my son loves so much. And then she took time out, and then so now we can talk. Even now, I'm sure she's disappointed where she is about the Proteas. But we'll talk. I'll call her later, and then we'll have a post-mortem. But that's the thing. Our parents didn't understand why are we doing this thing? What is this thing? This is not a sport that is in relation to us as people of color. So how do we then go about it? And that was the challenge. That was the big challenge.
But yeah, no, I hear you, and I hear where you're going with the thing. But I've personally, like I said, and then the question that you asked me about, where did it go with the cricket? Like I said, I think there was just something about cricket. It's difficult to explain someone. When you tell someone I enjoy, for instance, more test match cricket in one day and T20s, they don't understand. But it's difficult to explain how that buck. And I mean, I'm now from the age of 5. I'm now 37 years old. I've never missed a cricket season. I've been there all along, playing Eastern's cricket, playing club cricket from those years till now. Never missed a year.
That's impressive. That's impressive. Myself, I took a little bit of a break when I started working, and I was upset with just the system in general and why I think I left Randburg. I went to Wanderers because I felt like I wasn't being valued. Then I got to Wanderers and things were okay, and then the same thing started to happen. Then I just got disillusioned. I said, you know what, let me just hang up my boots for a while. Then I started working, and then I think after that I was like, no man, something's missing. Something's missing. Yes, I'm having a great time. I'm partying, it's friends, but I'm missing something. And it was cricket. I think 2016 I found my way back. So until the knees stop working, until the body breaks down, we'll keep going.
No, but it's important. I think I think in my community where I'm from, cricket is played the biggest sport. The problem is that most of the other sports are dying, and that is a serious problem that is actually worrying me. To extent where we need to try and activate. And obviously, what you find ourselves in now in our communities, people are not willing to volunteer anymore. That is the sad part of the townships. But actually, some of the chairmen of the white traditional clubs at Easterns, they complain the same thing. Parents don't want to volunteer their time anymore.
Same as Randburg. It's
so
very difficult.
I don't know. It comes back to that the foundation phase.
Yeah. I also just think socioeconomics now. Money's tight. People are worried about their own problems now. Things are not the same, so you don't have that time to now go and give an hour, 2 hours to the club. And when you disappear, your wife's like, "Hey, where you going? You said you could play. Why are you going back to the club?" So those are the hard things. Because I just even at Randburg, people are busy. It's very hard to get people to commit just to give some time to play or to help or to assist or to roll or to cut or to cover the pitch or whatever the case may be. So it's hard. It's been very hard. And you can see the shift. You can see the shift. And obviously knowing where you guys come from, I do realize, because I work in the area, it has died down. So football, but even just in general, when you hear the conversations, the sport it's not looked after. Even football, there used to be tournaments of the best schools playing midweek. The reasons why the Chabupules, the junior Kanyes came to the channels. School of Excellence is no longer, or it's the pipeline is dead. All of those things haven't come to fruition. And I know that it's the government's responsibility and extends to then drive sport, but I feel like that's also our responsibility, because that's what sets us free. Sport allows your mind to be free, because if you're always worried about socioeconomics, being at home, looking after this and that, when do you grow? Because stress will eat at you. It'll eat at you always. If you sit down and think about your problems, you'll never come up with a solution.
And that's what I said the other day when we busy with a documentary for the club, and I said the same thing when we started. I mean, we started in a tennis court. The tennis court at the time was sufficient for us. But that same tennis court today, they've got a lot of children that's playing provincial cricket. I mean, I think one out under 13s are playing free stage on Saturday. But everything started in the tennis court. You find today guys, they want to start a soccer team. They want to have kit. They want to have soccer balls. They want all the things. Everything. You understand? And I think that's where we're missing it. Just start, man. Just don't worry about
the passion. Let the passion carry it first.
Exactly.
We'll find. Because where there's passion, you'll make a way.
Exactly. And you see, the problem that we are also sitting with today is I've realized something in our primary schools. So when we started cricket at the primary school a couple of years back, the teachers there were eager to participate, but they didn't know the sport. So that's something that we need to look into in the townships, because you find yourself, and I had a conversation with one of the teachers, and I asked them, but why you guys are not having sports in the primary schools? They were like, Logi, if you realize we've got like 45 children in one classroom. We've got 4 and then these children are coming from different backgrounds, And then after you still expect us to go train.
Afterwards, we're tired. By the time second break was a smoke. Because 45 for you imagine teaching 45 children in one go.
My man, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So I think that's where government needs to come in. We need to come up with programs whereby if you go into teaching needs to have extra curriculum where you participate, and maybe go look for extra sports cricketers or soccer players and try and convince them to become teachers.
Exactly.
So then they go into the primary school, because that's the foundation phase.
Yeah.
Go to every township, Gary. I dare you, go to every township. You'll find the sports is dead. But then we spend millions on giving people grants, but we're not willing to fund the program in the primary school, and that's something as I'm going to start driving this thing. I got excited when Minister Zizi Kotla the other day spoke about he wants to start implementing school sports, especially primary school sports. And I realized after Nande Belfo, he's the first minister that started talking to that direction. So we hope he'll do something about it.
And he's not just talking to appease us. I think that's the thing, because we need some sort of, as much as we are custodians and we're about to do it, we need some sort of drive. Even if it's just a kickstart from the government. Say, okay, guys, here, go. Then we can take it on from there, because it's hard. As to volunteer, it's hard. Like myself, being in the committee, it takes a lot out of you.
And no,
it takes a lot out of you, and it takes a lot out of family, friendships. People plan holidays, and I'm like, where are you taking me in the cricket season? Why are we going to Sun City? Sunday I'm playing. So which means we're leaving Saturday night, ne?
Yeah.
Or we're leaving early Sunday morning for me to come back. You get the faces, frowns. Partners have been upset. Partners have left because of the devotion to the game. So it takes a lot out of you. When you sit back and think after whatever 10, 15 years, say, you know what? I've let a lot go for this. What do I have to show for it? And that's the thing, to show that, okay, we've got 13, 14 boys going through the Eastern system. That's something to put your heart at ease,
Yeah, and if I can just give a personal experience, this morning I every morning I take about a 15-minute, a 5K walk. So this morning I was walking and then I found one of our under 13 boys and asked him, "Hey Chief, I didn't see you for the last month. Where were you?" And the guy told me that his mother passed on. I'm like, "Yeah, but why did he never told me that your mother passed on?" He said, "Coach, man, that she got sick and what. And at that specific moment, I was crying about my circumstances. And a boy that played cricket that lost his parent, and I told the boy, "No, you need to come back. You need to come back and you need to be active in sports. This thing can be able to keep you, And I think some of us, God have called us for this thing, Harry. And you can do whatever you want. I mean, my uncle passed away last week. It was his funeral. They actually wanted me to go. I said, "No, I can't." What about, because I can explain to you tomorrow, we're playing under 14 match in Bedford. I need to be there. Saturday morning, our juniors are starting to play. You need to wake up at 6. In the afternoon, we've got a game. On Sunday, we've got a game. That has been my thing from the middle of September, probably until the 2nd of December or the 10th of December. Then you need to come back in January. Do it another 4 months. You understand? I've been doing this for 10 years, my man. So, but even sometimes when we don't have a game on a Sunday, you feel empty.
Hey, man.
So it's a difficult one, but I think just some of us need to make their sacrifices. People made sacrifices before us. Yeah. And unfortunately, you find yourself in that position. I find myself, and we need to keep going.
As many have come before, I'm there, and then others will follow. For myself, it's Greg Gibson, Justin and Brandon's father. They introduced me to club cricket. Greg would roll the pitch in the morning with the same roll we have now, with the Casa Laga in his hand at 7:00 in the morning. We're up at 6. We must be at the ground. He's rolling so that morning games can take place.
Exactly.
And then I find myself now, 20 years later, rolling the pitch, but without the castle in my hand, just rolling the pitch. Just rolling the pitch and painting lines. So it is the cross that we have to carry. And I probably wouldn't do it any other way. If we were to rewrite the script, I'd probably do it again.
Exactly,
because this is the game that chose me. And fortunately, I can play it a little bit. So it doesn't just love me. I also love it back. Sometimes you can love cricket, but cricket doesn't love you.
But but you know what, Harry? I always say this. I'm a big believer in Christ, and I like the story of Moses. And I always tell myself, imagine if Moses decided on his way to the promised land. No, I'm done. I'm sick and tired of this complaining. I'm sick and tired of people complaining about. I mean, if you look at in our case as a club, and I had a conversation with our Premier League yesterday at the practice. Chief, I told him we've got 10 children on full scholarships, Harry. And if you count all those children, the amount of money that's getting spent on that child per year, we're sitting almost close to 450,000 per year. That all of the different schools are investing in these children. And for me, my man, if I go sleep on a Sunday night and I think about, yes, I have to do it again, then I realize, you know what, I'm changing someone's life.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Even if I can complain, I don't have all the money in the world and I don't have the biggest cars and all those type of things, but that's what makes me happy. And it's a calling. I can't run away from it. And we as cricketers, we need to accept it. The only thing is we need to realize as guys that's from townships, we cannot forget where we come from.
Absolutely.
And we need to try, even if we can change one child's life per year.
That's enough.
That's enough.
It's enough. It's a knock-on effect. It's a knock-on effect.
Exactly.
Yeah, even for me, in everything I do, I hope that someone who's around me is just going to take that baton and move it. Just
move forward.
Move forward. When I stop, then someone else moves it forward. Then when they stop, someone else moves it forward. That's all we want, because this thing we do for free. We do it for free. No one pays you.
I don't get paid for this.
No, you don't. You don't.
Exactly.
You absolutely don't.
But that's how it is. I think there's people that, like I said, there's people that came before us. We need to move forward with it. I don't know. I'm actually looking forward to what's going to happen in our club in the next 5 years. I'm hopefully in the next year or so we're going to play against Randburg again. So then we're going to see where we are according to the Gauteng teams, because 100%. I've got ambitions.
Yeah, no,
we want to go to. we want to be the first black. I don't know if there been a black club at club champs before. You know, that's our ambition.
Yeah.
To say that we come from a township community, but yet we're playing in
Club champs.
Club champs. So we've got big ambitions.
Yeah, because I think now it's called Super League or something.
Yeah.
Club Super League. I saw
the
the fixtures came out today. Yeah, which is a nice initiative because it's Northwest, it's Easterns,
Lions, and
Northerns,
Titans.
Lions and Titans. So it's much better than what it used to be.
Yeah.
Because now it exposes everybody to everybody.
Yes.
It's not just names. Hey, so and so is playing so and so. Now you get to see Premier League teams up against each other, which is great.
Yeah,
great.
No. It's exciting times. The nice thing, I think cricket is starting to. People are saying it's dying, but I think it's starting to develop itself again. But that's the problem is, it's like there's a privatization that's happening at cricket at the moment. And the only thing that I want to see is they must not forget that the children in the township.
Yeah. No,
wherever they want to take cricket.
It is, unfortunately, it is still an elite. It's an elite sport. It's expensive. My favorite bet growing up, a Kookaburra pub, it's 16,000 rand.
Yo.
Imagine explaining to your mother that you want a bet for 16,000 rand.
No, it's
And there's someone in Houghton's got two.
just
When are you still explaining? No, I'll buy you the one for 700. If you can use this one, I'll get you one for 2,000. But the one for 700 can't hit it off the square.
yes.
So there's always that issue. No, I can't buy the spikes for 3,000. I'll get you the ones for 800. But when you bowl, man, when you hits the crease, it's not quite the same. It's quite I don't know. One day, I don't know how we're gonna break that cycle, but we need to make cricket accessible for everybody, because there's definitely much more talent in this country that can play this game, far and wide across this country that can play this game, but they don't know it, they're not exposed to it, or they just don't have the financial capacity to play the game.
Yeah, we need to get it. We need to get it to every corner. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, and just to almost get to the, unfortunately, we're running out of time, which is the thing I hate about this thing, because this is a great conversation. Your vision for the next 5 to 10 years, where do you see? So already you've spoken about Geluksdal, going to club champs, obviously from an ambition and performance perspective, but just on the whole as Geluksdal CC, where do you see you guys in the next 5-10 years?
So the vision for the club is hopefully in the next year we want to build a new oval.
Oh yeah, I remember we spoke about that. You spoke
so
about
we in the plan to build a new oval, a proper cricket oval. The thing is, we have a new oval. When I get to, currently we're sitting about close to 400,000 rand per year on the scholarship. We need to try and, my personal goal is to get at least close to 800,000 rand per year. So it means we need to get about another 15 children into high school scholarships. That's also a next 3 to 4 year goal. And then obviously the most important, but also we want to become a hub. Well, we qualify to be a hub, but the only problem is the reason why we're not a hub, because we don't have a home ground now at the moment. Yeah. But we've got everything. We've got goals. We've got the necessary schools.
You tick all the other boxes.
You tick all the other boxes except for that. And then obviously I've got my own personal ambitions. I'm also a director at Eastern's Junior Cricket. I see myself leading the union in years to come. That's also my personal goals. But my main goal is obviously in the next 10 years to 7 years to sit on my couch and watch a boy from my township playing for the Proteas one day. When I see a couple of them playing in the IPL, I always say to the boys that with the amount of talent we're getting through from one scholarship, there will come a time I'll just blow a whistle and say, boys, come. We need to have a fundraiser. But that is it, yeah. And obviously we need to. My goal is, the end goal is obviously just not about cricket, because we need to get it close to at least 3 sporting codes. So what I liked about Harry is, in conclusion for me, is that we need to run a 12-month program. A 12-month program is to say that when a child comes in the morning to school, after school directly goes into a 1.5 hour tutoring program, or after school with a teacher or a retired teacher that need to teach him. Immediately after that, they do 2 hours of sports. Doesn't matter what sporting goes in, he must only be able to leave the school around about 6. But that program needs to run for 12 months. That's where I need to want to take the cricket because what I've realized is most of the children they come from very poor backgrounds, and when they go back, they don't have something to eat. They don't have. There's no parents that tell them to do their homework,
Because
and
they're
that's
at
great.
work, or they're
Yeah,
coming
they
home from
at
work, or
you
they're
know
working night shift, or
exactly.
whatever the
So
case may be. They have to manage themselves. Yeah.
and obviously the main goal is to say that in January we need to run a full athletics program. After that we maybe have to go to into rugby or netball or hockey, and then eventually in the winters when the soccer season starts and then the cricket season starts, and then so we need to run a full cycle. I want to get it right in my community because I mean currently we're sitting about close to 120 children that play sport cricket. If we get the other sporting coach to start running, you'll find that on average you'll sit about 400 children that actively
Absolutely.
involved in sports
Yeah.
and run a 24-hour cycle.
Because no, you're right. Because that's what kept me grounded.
Exactly. I
I was fortunate to go to a Model C school, and there was cricket, there was soccer, there was swimming, there was rugby. There's
Exactly.
club sport. There's clubs in the area. So if you're not playing school, you're playing club.
Exactly.
You're doing something. Then when you're tired, you eat, you do your homework, you go to sleep, wake up in the morning. There's no time for you to get up to nonsense.
Exactly my point. So that's my goal for my community. As that's hopefully in the next 5 years I'll get that one right. We need to try getting the other sporting goals running. Cricket is running quite nicely. It's just that we need to get the other sporting goals running. So that's my personal goal. And obviously to try and get the other sporting goals, I already started speaking to the other townships. Tell them, Chief, this thing must not just be about cricket. You must be able, as a club, be able to get 1 or 2 boys into the elite schools. I'm driving that thing, and I'm hope I'll be able to get it right.
No, I love that vision. I love that vision. I think that's something that it's tangible, it's doable, and I think now that if you can prove it in the cricket model, then you can just replicate it across
Exactly
the
my
others.
point.
And
Exactly
once
my
people
point.
see the success here, then they know that it's possible.
Exactly.
You're not just talking for the sake of talking,
Exactly.
like an ANC politician. But there's actually something to prove and say, okay, cool. This is how we did it. This is how it worked. And if you apply the same logic in soccer or in hockey or athletics, it will then reproduce the same results.
Exactly my point. That's what we need to do. I believe it's possible. I believe that we just need to people that's got the right heart, right mindset, obviously passion. If you're gonna have the passion and right people,
Yeah, no, you
the
need
right
volunteers who aren't
that's
in it
just
for the
gonna
money. They're not in
yeah,
it for
they
the
must
money.
just keep going.
Because if you're in it for the bottom line, then it's never going to end well.
I mean,
It's never going to end well. You have to want to see improvement, better lives, better the community, better the state of wherever you're from first, and then if you happen to make some change after that, then great. But yeah, if you're worried about the bottom line from the get-go, then it's never gonna.
it must be about changing lives.
Yeah,
Getting
because as I said, you can't put a price on changing a life.
No, you can't.
So you can't stop at 20,000 and say, okay, no, I've done enough. I must now recoup my investment. It doesn't work like that.
No,
Yeah.
but I think also that one thing that I want to get out to all the people that continue supporting me, close friends around me. I'm not gonna call names. People at the club.
They know themselves.
They know themselves. Guys at the club. Those that only have the opportunity to be on a podcast like today. Thanks, and I hope that God will bless them. Don't get tired. And to you guys, I hope this podcast goes from strength to strength.
Thank you. Thank you.
Get a lot of viewers, and yeah, just keep going.
No, absolutely. Even this conversation is also giving me some new energy to continue. New energy to continue doing what I'm doing.
Jen, sorry to interject. I just landed from India, and the boys didn't do so well.
We have lots of questions for you. Lots of questions. Lots.
But amazing conversation, Logan. Amazing stuff that you've been doing, and to have sevens of the game like you're doing. But there's one thing that I wanted to touch on. You said you went to an elite white Afrikaans school. And you spoke also about getting role models or us coming back into the communities, into the poor communities, because it's a trend. Not only in sport, but everyone that does well or goes to university, gets a degree, they then go to live in Sandton. They live Soweto, they live wherever they came from. I get that. But then also with you asking or you getting scholarships for these kids to go to the elite schools, is there anything that can be done to bring that cricket back into the township schools and have that as a main focus for you guys, instead of the main focus is getting the kids out to the elite schools. You get what I'm trying to come from. Can we then, if we want to bring role models into the sphere, can we bring cricket to the school, not take cricketers to those schools?
Yeah, like I said, remember this is our such circumstances and the how can I say the Moral C people or the privileged people. It becomes a two-way street thingy, because if you look at it, that we don't have facilities. That's number one. Currently, what we have in our communities is the social ill problems. I mean, in our club, for instance, you find that a boy on his way to the sporting field, he walks past all the people that's selling drugs or gangsters or taverns and all those type of things. They're exposed to those type of things. So you want to have a small balance of the and we don't have that facilities. So it's for me, I believe that the more, and that's why in our club the rule is we will try our best to get you into a better school, a better facility, but it's important to play club cricket in the township, because that's where you're giving back, still be visible. And because obviously now you as an individual, you're starting to change, your character starts to change, you become a more...
Start influencing the people around you.
Exactly my point. So we just need to have that fine balance. Currently what we have is guys that makes it in life, they move out, they totally don't come back.
Yeah.
And that's where
So at least started at that
yes,
level.
so we need to because everybody wants to get out of the township. That is, I think that's all of our main goals. But it's important.
That's also the dream we've been sold. That's the dream
exactly,
we've been sold. That,
but it's important for us to always give back. We need to go back. We need to, when you make it in life, maybe bring one or two boys, come see where do I stay. Expose him to better things. Because remember, a vision starts with a dream. And if you look at it, how can you dream if you're going to continue staying in the township? You're going to be, the dream will be the things around you.
And it's going to influence, that dream of yours will be
exactly.
influenced
So
by
it needs to be a two-way thing, you know. And that's just my view and how I currently see it. Maybe in the next 10 years it will change. But for now, it's like, get the boys out, but also realize where they come from, so that they can be able to always give back.
Because I think the other tough thing is that I think we've spoken about it. It's the care for facilities.
Exactly.
Do people in the township understand how much a cover costs? Do they understand how much work it takes to prepare a pitch, to keep the field even? All of those things, Then for someone to just jump over the fence and cut it and go,
yes,
because he needs a piece. And also they also need that piece for survival. But do I know that, okay, in doing that, I'm actually hurting my neighbor's son?
Exactly.
I'm hurting my back opposite or my front opposite neighbor's son or daughter in this act. And that's the thing, because the need is now, it's so personal. I'm hungry now. I need to make a plan now. There's something for me to do. I'm on it.
Exactly.
The last one, we've got a question here that says, you are such a busy man. And you just spoken about the juniors on a Saturday, then the Premier League on a Sunday. All these things are taking up everything in you. How then do you balance your personal life, your work life, and your cricket life?
Debs, now to be honest with you, I'm gonna be quite open with this one. I'm actually struggling with that one. It's something that I'm trying my best to. I mean, I was supposed to be at a meeting now. There's a junior meeting at Eastern today, and during the day you need to go help the coaches and it's difficult to answer. I've been struggling personally. I've been 10 years into this thing. I don't really have a personal life, to be honest. My life is cricket, and that's how it is. I'm gonna lie to you because
you said that you're doing it well.
I'm doing it well. My life, I just concentrate on cricket. How we be able to get the children out of the street? How we can be able to make a meaningful impact? And I like now it's not just about Geluksdal, but it's trying to help the other clubs as well.
Yeah, no, it is tough. As I said, many people are upset when it comes to cricket. You're going to cricket again? I thought you said you were done. Why are we? No, it's difficult because you love the sport. You are willing to sacrifice a lot more than you would if it was just, No offense if it's just a job or something like that. Because you love this thing so much, you're willing to just give up extra of yourself.
And Harry, we need to look at it from that perspective. There's people that died for this freedom that we are enjoying today.
Yeah.
I mean, Mandela, you could have said, no, 27 years in prison. No.
I'm sharp, Chenzai.
What
What do you need me to say? I'll implicate all of them. Who must appoint it? Oh, this one and this one. Yeah, and he was also there. Let them. Yeah, I've done my
part. After 5 years, someone else, and the guy said, no, he's even willing to die. So we need to find inspiration from them, Harry, and God will judge us one day, or history will judge us if we've done something right, or if we need to come up. But thanks once again, thanks for the opportunity.
No, it's a pleasure. I think our time is up. We could talk about this forever, but our time is up. But I'd love to thank you for coming down. I think this has been a really amazing story. I think most people who listen to this will resonate and maybe just get a better understanding of what happens behind the scenes for guys who walk out in the field on a Sunday and play some cricket.
You don't know.
What happens behind the scenes to make sure that the boys get to where they need to be on time and deliver the best of themselves and make it to where they need to be, because those are stories that are not told, and that's why I love this podcast. I love doing what we're doing, because these are the things that we maybe do complain about on WhatsApp and talk about, but we don't get to share with other people. So I appreciate you coming down. I definitely probably have you back soon so you can give us more developments on how the club is doing. Maybe at the end of the season we can wrap it up and chat about how things have gone, how you guys performed in Easterns. You guys are playing out of Woolamore Park, eh?
We're currently playing out of Woolamore Park.
So if you are in the Easterns area and you want to watch some cricket, some great amateur cricket, please come down. There's some fantastic facilities. I think I've played it. It's at the back. Yeah, I played it before. Great facilities. Do you get a chance to play on the main oval?
No. I think those years.
Come on, guys.
I think end of the year we've got this thing that they call the Battle of the Roses.
Yeah.
I think they bring it back this year. Then
we get a chance to play on the main oval. That would be fantastic as well. Yeah. But I think that's it. Otherwise, if I start talking on another subject, I won't stop. So everybody, please like, subscribe, share, watch the whole thing, give us some feedback. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think about the story, because I think it's an amazing story. Whether it's got to do with cricket or not, the life story, the lessons in the background are amazing. But anyway, it's time for us to go. We will see you again very soon. We're not going anywhere. I think India's done, France is done, so we're local now. Maybe we might travel the country. Maybe advise Lions and advise Easterns and Titans on how to play some cricket. But yeah, that's it. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people